to get those, you need
I got good company and my troubles outside, and I'm sitting here with all of my friends, drinking beer like the night won't end, red wine in a Dixie cup, all night till the sun comes up. I think I've made up my mind. I don't need you in my life, I'm doing just fine.
What I'm doing here is I'm putting CROVECT on the sheep. It's a pour-on solution, and it's instead of dip as well as click. It's to prevent blowfly as well as lice. We give CROVECT to all our sheep and lambs, and the reason for that is because around summertime, around the trees where the sheep go around the trees to shelter from the sun, there's a lot of flies. The flies start bothering them and you get what's called fly strike. It can be certain animals or it can be quite a big group of them. It depends really on whether you've dipped them or given them CROVECT. There's advantages to both CROVECT, click and dipping. I would say that click and dipping are the best, but they're also the most expensive and also probably the hardest to do, I would imagine. Click, basically, as soon as the flies land on the sheep and the flies lay their eggs on the sheep, once the eggs are laid they explode, hence why it's called click. Dipping, clue is in the name basically. You dip the sheep and it gets the whole sheep in this solution, this bath, and that hopefully protects them from the flies and deters them as well. CROVECT is a bit different to those two. It's a pour-on solution we put across the back and the rump of the animal. However, it is localised and it doesn't spread across the whole animal. It's just there to help deter the flies away from the sheep. CROVECT has worked for us across the years, however we have only been doing this a few years. We haven't done any dipping or we haven't used click, but for us it works. However, the only downside to it is that sometimes you have to repeat the treatment.
Sun comes up, I think I've made up my mind. I don't need you in my life. Oh yes, I've made up my mind. I'm doing just fine.
After we've sorted all the sheep and lambs out during the CROVECT, we next moved on to the not as important, but it still is an important job, but not as important jobs. What I'm doing is I'm looking at the mower, making sure it's all okay, ready to go at hay time, which as I'm doing this video now, it's the end of this week, and I now have my computer back from the repair shop. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the cover off, ready to look at the belts, make sure they're tight, make sure they're not cracked or anything, make sure they are ready to go straight into the field. I will do the same with Dad's mower, but I won't record it because what was the point in recording it? They're both the same mower basically, just His is older, mine's newer. Tight, are there any obvious cracks in them? After we've checked the belts, we move on to greasing up the machine. There's grease nipples on the PTO shaft as well as the actual mower. After we've done that, we next move on to checking the blades, making sure they're sharp enough, making sure they're not broken or anything. Because if one of those was to fly out when you're mowing, it wouldn't end well at all. So the way these grease nipples work, there's a little ball in the top of them that lets grease in to the nipple, and it sends the grease down the shaft into the bearing here. You can see there, just where the grease is starting to come out. You have to watch for grease starting to come out, and that's when you know you've got enough grease in. You have to do that for all your bearings, otherwise you'll knacker up your bearings. There's one here for this bearing, there's one here for this bearing. All the others are on the PTO shaft. That's your PTO shaft. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 joints. And you want to look for grease coming out of the joints. And then these plastic ones on the cover, you don't want to give them a quick do because that's only greasing when your shaft goes in and out, like that. Now, this end, the mower end, is an overrun clutch. Basically, if you twist that in one direction, it'll spin and you can hear it click. I think it's basically a ratchet mechanism in there. So as you spin it, it'll jump a tooth, and as soon as you set your mower going, it'll catch it and it'll spin the whole shaft. There's also a grease nipple for your universal joint and also your overrun clutch. You want to make sure you do them both. So this goes at the mower end. Now, usually the drum mowers already have an overrun clutch in them, but we bought an extra shaft just to be safe rather than sorry. Just in case the one on the mower goes knackered. Otherwise, we've got a knackered tractor.
You've been lonely, makes you cold as ice. Hard to get to know me, the better than the lies. No way I'd let you slip by. No way I'd let you say bye.
I greased up the hay bob and the rake off camera because I thought, well, you've already seen me grease up the mower and there isn't a right lot more to it. So now we're on to one of the less important jobs, but also it is an important job. It's a log splitter this, and it does what it says. It splits logs. Not many people know how the hydraulics in the 590 work, and I don't know much myself. Basically right now it's on low pressure for your arms, so this controls your arms. So if I push it down, the log splitter goes down, and if I turn the pumps off, put it to high pressure, pump back on, put it to high. So that says pressure, high. Probably shouldn't have it on that, but I don't know. We'll put it on middle for now. You come here, pull the lever towards you, it goes down, push it towards the tractor and it goes up.
feel such nonsense inside. Trying to be patient, but running out of time.
As we need to remember with all machinery and farm machinery, health and safety, as you can see when the axe is coming down and it's splitting the log, I'm twisting my body to the side, so if the logs flies out at me, it's hitting my leg and it's not hitting me somewhere else. It hurt a hell of a lot more.
You set the rain on me, and I just wanna understand everything that led us here. The teardrops when I hold your hand. No way I'd let you slip by. No way I'd let you say bye. Can we watch it fade, fade away? Can we let it fade, fade away? We'll take it day by day. Can we watch it fade, fade
So, we're on high pressure at the minute. So we'll flick, first of all, turn the pump off this lever here. Flick it to low pressure, so that's the arms. Put this lever back, turn the pump back on, lift this up. A bit too high, but anyway, that's how that works and how it was set up. Had it set on high pressure. There's low at this end and there's high at the top. So anyway, so multi-power this tractor. So go and tuck away back in the shed. I'll just tuck her away here for now. Put the handbrake back on. Pull the stop. There we are. The other night we took this injector pump apart on the Perkins. It's a Perkins engine, is this? Basically what was happening was in there, don't know whether you can see anyway, diesel was leaking out of the gap on the spindle. Diesel was leaking out of there and it was coming down here, that's why it's a bit stained as the injector pump, the paint's been stained on it. So in here, I took some photos. In here there's 2 rubber seals on the spindle. That goes down inside, connects to a spring which connects to the governor, and then this is obviously your engine start stop to turn your fuel off altogether. So that goes down and connects onto a little metal arm in there, and that does that. So we put it all back together, and as you can see here there's wire holding these bolts back on, so we couldn't find any or where it had gone, so we ended up using a bit of copper. Out of the high pressure into the block, it goes into the block, up through one of these. It will be this top one, I would imagine. It goes into the top of the ram. The oil pushes the ram down the cylinder, which then pushes your splitter down, and then in here, because it's a double acting ram, so the chrome end is smaller than the actual ram here, so your oil goes down, and then it's a bit of a plunger, and it's smaller for a reason, so oil goes back into here when you want to lift it up, and it pushes the plunger back up to the top, which raises your splitter. And then obviously the oil, once it's finished using, or when it's going back down again, it's diverted back out of this pipe, down your return, into here, out your return pipe, back to your return spool. And then it'll go back into the gearbox oil, and then it'll go do another circle again. For a 45-year-old tractor, it's a pretty decent one. Most things still work on it. So yeah, that is the 590 in a nutshell with the log splitter. And I won't be able to edit this video for, I think it'll be at least another 2 weeks yet, because my computer has decided to give up on me. So that's in a repair shop getting fixed at the minute. So it's touch and go whether I'm going to have enough storage or not to record all of mowing and silo time this year, because obviously I'm recording on one of my old phones, which the storage is already filled up with my photos, personal photos, and I don't know how to transfer them onto my new phone without copying them all onto my laptop and transferring them onto my new phone. We'll put these logs in the log store with a Renault. It's just up the yard, but it's faster and easier than a wheelbarrow, carting them all the time. If anyone wants a free pet lamb, they're free to have it, because it's currently in my grazing grass, having a right belly full, and that's the 3rd time it's done that. Right out there. So we've still got all those drains to pull up for the building yet, but we have gravelled over, ready to put silage bales on. Whilst we're at it, might as well do a bit of a crop walk. So it's all relatively decent in the bottom. You want the nice leafy stuff like this, for example. Hello. You right? You don't really want the seedy stuff. What happens is it goes to 3 leaves. After 3 leaves it starts going to head, as we call it, which is basically long and seedy. Most of the 2 fields are like this, and then we decided to do a 3rd one because it got ahead of us. If you look here, you can see it's a yellowy sort of orange colour, and then goes to the brown at the top. My camera in focus. That isn't the grass dying as such. It's because it's been so cold and wet. This year has been I think it's been an exceptionally wet year, especially through winter, so it's taken a massive effect on our grass this year. And as you can tell, you might be able to see there's some bits of orange and yellow in these grasses as well. That isn't really what we want. It's been cold, it's been frostbitten, it's been wet, and it's stunted the grass's growth, and it's all the way down the field. Of course, the spool valve had to be leaking. There's a little O-ring that sits in the spool valve, and it sandwiches the male end and the female end and creates that tight seal to stop oil from coming out. Also, while I was on, I found the pipe to the spool valve, the high pressure valve, was also leaking, so I decided to fix that at the same time as well. So the tractor spent a day in the workshop waiting for a spare hose to be made. Also, I need to take this panel off sometime to look at the pipe underneath because it's leaking under there. So, bugger. So, here is the Massey, looking in a very sorry state. That's because I told you about a leak behind here where the spool valve's at. My camera won't focus, but there's a split in the pipe there. A decent sized one as well. So that's why it was leaking behind here, and why I've taken it in bits, and why we have a new one, which doesn't look the same length for me. So, behind here where this paper towel is, which I did pour over the opening of the gearbox, is a threaded stud that goes into the top of the gearbox, and then oil comes out the pipe and into your high pressure valve out here. That's your return, that's your low pressure. One thing I've learnt from doing hydraulic hoses is you put your elbow end on first. That makes it a lot easier for yourself. Instead, if you put your hose on like that at this end, you have to bend it back around somehow, so you put that on first, your elbow end. It is a bit longer, but it'll get its shape eventually. So I'll leave that loose, the elbow end, for now, until I get the spool valve on. Here it is, full of oil. So for anyone who doesn't know, you pull the collar back and then you just put your pipe in. And in there, the centre bit, that pushes back when your hose goes in and it allows oil to flow through. Yes, dirty.
You lay there on the kitchen floor. It seems like you can't take no more. I'm sorry, but when my engine starts, I just can't get enough. I'll let you up and tie it down, so you'll be here. I'll lace you up and put you on. Running for you, gotta move, don't want no ride. So warm me up, cause I know the world is at my feet, yeah. So take me higher, baby, let's go and hit the streets, yeah. So I'll keep running for you. So I'll keep running for you. Every day and night, I'm running for you, gotta go and step outside. So warm me up, cause I know the world is at my feet, yeah.